Hey guys, welcome back to part 8 of the Kotlin tutorial. So before we continue writing new code, I want to briefly talk about comments. Comments are nodes that you can add to your source code and which are then completely ignored by the compiler. This is useful if you want to add descriptions to your code that explain how it works or what it does, either for other developers or even for yourself, because it can easily happen that you write a piece of code and then a few weeks later you don't remember what it does. And beyond that, comments are also useful to disable parts of your code without deleting it by commenting them out. There are two types of comments. With 2 slashes, we can create a so-called end-of-line comment, which, as the name suggests, turns everything behind it till the end of the line into a comment, and this part will now be ignored by the compiler and not executed. This also means we can put this comment behind code to, for example, explain what it does. And now this part here is still functional because our comment starts here. The other type is a so-called block comment, which we start with 1 slash and an asterisk symbol, and we end it the other way around with an asterisk and then a slash. And now everything between it is turned into a comment, even if it goes over multiple lines. This is more convenient than adding line comments to each line separately. Okay, and that's basically already it for the normal comments, but when we looked into the primitives KT file in the earlier parts, you might have noticed that in here we can see a different type of comment. Actually, the asterisk in each new line is not the interesting part. We can add this to a normal block comments as well. But what makes this comment different is that it starts with a slash and 2 asterisk symbols. This is a so-called documentation comment. And there are certain tools which can read these comments and extract them into separate files together with the code they are added to, and this way generate manuals for our code, which then describe what each function and other parts of our code do and how to use them. And IntelliJ IDEA can also read these comments. So when we, for example, call this toLong function in our code and want to see a description for it, we can click on it and press Ctrl Q or F1 on Mac, which opens this pop-up. And this description we see here is the exact same description we saw in this documentation comment, because IntelliJ reads this and then displays it as the description for this function. You can add these documentation comments to your own code as well, but we won't cover them here in detail because they have their own syntax and tags you can use, and this would just bloat up this tutorial too much at this point, and you usually use them in larger projects, especially when other developers have to use your code. For our small projects, normal comments are sufficient, but of course you are welcome to learn about documentation comments in more detail on your own. You will find tons of tutorials for that in Google. Otherwise, just use these normal comments here, but remember that they are not a substitute for proper naming convention and a descriptive code style. So always try to make sure that your code explains itself. That's it for this video. If this was helpful, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for upcoming parts of the Kotlin tutorial. Take care.